Everybody. Thank you for sticking around for the last technology. I know you've had a lot of information thrown at you tonight, so I will be brief. My name is Anna, and I actually work for a nonprofit organization called Green Energy Consumers Alliance. We used to be called Mass Energy Consumers Alliance, so you may know us under that name. But we have, in normal times, an office in Boston and an office in Providence, although right now we're scattered across the two states, Massachusetts and Rhode Island, which is where we do our business. Our mission is to harness the power of energy consumers to speed the transition to a low-carbon future, which is a long-winded way of saying that we have a series of programs and services that help people make smart energy decisions. And one of those programs is our Drive Green program, which centers around electric vehicles. Which is what I'll talk about very quickly today, and then at more length on Sunday the 9th. If you have nothing better to do on a Sunday evening, come chat with me about electric cars. But very briefly, why electric vehicles? So we are both an organization dedicated to fighting climate change and both a consumer protection organization. So we are big fans of electric vehicles for both of those reasons. So there are huge environmental and also, particularly importantly right now, public health benefits to shifting away from burning gasoline and diesel fuel for transportation to electric vehicles. They emit about, or are responsible for about a quarter of the emissions of a gas-powered car, and that amount is decreasing all the time as our grid gets cleaner. And on the public health side, they're not responsible for any of the particulate matter or the NOx and SOx emissions that are causing real damage and have been causing real suffering for centuries in this country, and are particularly top of mind right now. Moving from the sort of why is this good for the world to why is this good for a consumer, electric vehicle drivers enjoy lower fuel and maintenance costs over the lifetime of the car. And particularly more stable fuel and maintenance costs, so there are less nasty surprises, mostly because there's fewer moving parts that can break on you. Charging at home is actually more convenient for most folks than driving to a gas pump once a week. Again, particularly right now when you don't really want to be touching gas pump handles, it's quite nice to be able to charge at home if you can do that. A lot of people, when they think of EVs, are thinking of the EVs that existed 10 years ago, but there are many more options today that are not all luxury cars and not all sedans. There are SUVs, there are all-wheel drives. There's really a car that will meet most consumers' needs at this point. And then there are federal and state incentives that can help bring down the cost by as much as $10,000. So these are nothing to sneeze at, and there are really some great options out for regular Massachusetts drivers. And one thing I can't not say is that they're actually really fun to drive, and I say this as a person who does not really care about how quickly a car can accelerate as long as it gets me onto the highway, but these are really quite pleasant vehicles to drive. They're much quieter, they're much more responsive. You press on the accelerator and you zoom, and they've got all the bells and whistles that everybody has come to expect in terms of safety features and lane departure warning and all of that. So we have helped over 800 people get electric cars through our Drive Green program so far, and every time that we've surveyed them asking if they would recommend their car to a friend or neighbor, 100% of them have said yes. So we actually have a new Facebook group if you want to chat with some real EV drivers. I mean, there are some EV drivers among the volunteers for this program, but if you want to do that online, you can do that. Very briefly, if you're thinking about getting solar and an electric car at the same time, or even if you're thinking about getting solar now and then maybe an electric vehicle in the next couple of years, we have a little guide to help you figure out if you should be thinking about those things together right now. Long story short, if you think you're going to get an electric car in the next couple of years and you're getting solar now, it might make sense to size up your system or make sure that your system is add-on friendly. And the solar installers and I can answer more detailed questions on that. But basically, if you know you're going to add an electric vehicle, that's a pretty big load. You might as well size up your solar system now to make sure that you can charge your car with sun power. You can also think about opting for a dual solar inverter or a solar inverter that also serves as an electric vehicle charger. This gets a little bit complicated depending on where the solar inverter is placed and where you park your car. The main reason we put this up here is that if you do that, the federal tax credit for your solar installation extends effectively to your car charger. But for most people, it's not that big of a deal, and they mostly just think about whether or not they should size up their system now. Very quickly, I just want to show you a couple screenshots about the tool that we've built. As Carolyn mentioned, we have a network of car dealers who offer fixed discounts on a monthly basis to folks who come through our program. So when you go to greenenergyconsumers.org/drivegreen, you can first learn a lot about all of the things that I ran through very quickly just now. And read more about what we've written. But really the magic of the program is here when you hit explore the car and sign up for discounts. That'll bring you to a form that lists all of the electric vehicles that are generally available for sale in New England. And you can sort and filter by different characteristics. So if you only want to see battery electric vehicles that have over 200 miles of range, we'll show you that. If you only want to see plug-in hybrids that cost less than $40,000, we'll show you that. And basically this first page of the form is intended to help you narrow down your choices. And you can also talk to us. We are real people who will respond to your emails, chat with you online, or even talk to you on the phone if you want to talk through what might work best for your life. But basically once you've figured out what cars you want to narrow it down to, you can check off one or you can check off all of them. And then when you hit next, you'll come to a page where we'll show you current car deals side by side in an apples to apples format, or as apples to apples as we can get it from the car dealers. So you can really look at, okay, do I want to go to this dealership in Braintree, or do I want to look at the other dealers? When you're on the website live, you can scroll and see that there's lots of options, but basically for all of them, we show them in the same format so that you can really compare. Does it make sense for me to drive a little further for a better price, or do I like the additional benefits that this particular dealer has? And our goal is really to just facilitate the whole process, because buying a car is never fun, but if you can sign up through a form, get put in touch with the right salesperson and say, I'm a Drive Green lead, I want that discount. Our hope is that you're in and out of there faster and more comfortably than otherwise. So here you can check off one dealer, you can check off all of the dealers, but basically you just fill out your contact information. We'll put you in touch with the car dealer. The purchase or lease is between you and the car dealer, but we are always there to help if you run into trouble or have questions. But again, our hope is just that your next car should be electric, so when you're ready to get an electric car, we'll be there and we can help make the process as painless as we can. So with that, I'll end there. But I will be doing an hour-long Electric Vehicles 101 presentation on Sunday. So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of what do I mean when I say fuel costs are lower or maintenance costs are lower, or how does the federal tax credit work, we'll go over that on Sunday.